Hello, Namaste, Sat good evening. Welcome to the S.S. Chandhok talk show. I'm your host and moderator, S.S. Chandhok. Today, we have gathered here on this beautiful Monday evening to talk about a very important topic that is how to remove maths phobia, especially among the middle school students. We had been seeing through ages at our times also that there was a lot of maths phobia amongst the students when it came to middle school. Till grade 5, the students, they enjoy the mathematics, but when it comes on 6th onwards, they start having phobia, and from the pressure from the parents and from the teachers that maths is going to be a big thing for them, and it becomes a phobia for them. What are the causes and how can we remove these problems, this phobia we are discussing today in this particular session. Without taking any time, I'll introduce you to the very first eminent guest present over here. We have Mr. Rakesh Bhatia, who is the principal of a very prestigious institution in Kasganj, that is Mount Literacy School. Sir is heading schools from many years over there, as I know him personally also. He's heading the school and he has brought up the name of the school to a different position as of now when he has joined. Welcome, Rakesh, sir, to the show, and thank you so much for coming. Sir, I know
Thank
you
you, sir.
very well from many years, but still people will like to know about your educational journey. Did you came into this profession by chance or by choice? And we also want to know your educational journey from a teacher to a principal or a senior principal in this Mount Literacy School. Over to you, sir.
Right, so thank you very much, Chandhok, sir. Definitely, I'm a teacher by choice, not by chance. I started my journey 25 years back. Just after completing my education, uh, I was having a great passion to teach. Then I started my career as a mm, teacher in a college, and that too very prestigious college in Kanpur, which is known by the name of DG Girls College. There, I was in charge for mm, the computer science classes, especially for the BSc and BA computer science students. So then, after working in college, as I thought, okay, why not use my knowledge, my skills for the younger ones where they need it urgently. It was the need of that at that time. Then I decided that I'll not work in the college, I'll work with the school. Then I started my journey with Hatbella Mission School as a teacher, as a primary teacher over there. And then finally, after working for multiple years, I got promoted from PRT to TGT, from TGT to PGT. Then I got opportunity to work along with Honorable Chandhok sir in DPS Kalyanpur. For many years, we have worked together. He's my colleague also. And then finally, after having good experience as a PGT, got opportunity to work as a principal in various schools in Para Bihar, in Indore, and then finally Kannauj. And now, from last 4 years, I'm in Kasganj. So this is a beautiful journey which I enjoyed, and at every step, I have learned something new. This is what I think, that wherever you go, any part of the country, you will get your opportunity to learn all sort of new things which you have never imagined. So that's my journey. Thank you very much. Over to you, sir.
Amazing. Oh, amazing, sir. Rakesh, sir, you had a wonderful journey, and I had been seeing through these years that how much struggle you have done, and you have brought up the name of the schools wherever you have went. Thank you so much for coming, sir. Very welcome. Next, we have Dr. Shivani Sahani, ma'am. She is the principal of another prestigious institution in Delhi, that is HRM Global School. Welcome, Shivani, ma'am. Dr. Shivani Sahani, ma'am. Once again to the show. It's a pleasure meeting you once again after a long time. Ma'am, I know about you very well, but everybody will like to know again about your educational journey. New people, new world, and we know that you are a very, honest and hardworking person. Ma'am, please let us know about your educational journey.
Thank you so much. To start with, Chandokji, and it's really an honor to be here. Plus, I'm really humbled that you very generously spoken about me being honest. Uh, So when it comes to talking about myself, I really don't know what to talk about. But yes, in short, what I will share about myself is that I'm a voracious learner. I'm really open to learn anytime and from anybody. So that's what keeps me going and keeps me growing. As far as my education journey into education goes, I started that in 2008. Before that, I was a marketing professional with pharmaceuticals. And it's out of passion, it's out of choice, though I never had thought that I will be a part of education. But out of choice and passion of contributing to the society, giving back something, because people have given me a lot. So that got me into education. I saw that there is a lot of need of life skills to be inculcated amongst children. And that is the reason I thought that education system needs to be revamped. Because what I had been seeing all through was a lot of rote memorization and not experiential learning happening. So that was the reason a lot of students were under distress, and even the parents, because their expectations were too high, both from their children as well as from the school. So keeping all of that in view, I thought this is going to be a place, education is going to be a place where I will be able to touch lives, more lives together, and I should be a part of it. And that's what brought me here. Since then, there's no looking back. I have been associated with a lot of organizations other than my own organization, which gives me bread and butter. So the other organizations don't give me bread and butter, but that gives me a lot of satisfaction in terms of me being a contributor. So there I am a life skills ambassador, a global life skills ambassador with Parenting 2.0 and HSMNAs, thought leader with a couple of other organizations like AIP and all, to name a few. I very passionately take classes for life skills and design thinking in my school for grades 3 to 8. And I love to be with children because they teach you a lot. Every day I learn a lot from them. So much to learn from them. They bring smiles. After you were exhausted and you have lots and lots of stress, just a little smile on their face brings all the peace.
Yeah, absolutely right, ma'am. When you are very stressed and we look at the little ones, especially of the pre-primaries, their smiling faces, then all the tiredness and or your whatever stress you have, that goes away.
True
and
that.
you always feel comfortable with them whenever you're with them.
And
Right,
kids
ma'am.
are really observant. They're so observant. We'll talk about today's incidents itself. A 2 years girl, I mean, she's in pre-nursery in my school. And Friday in the daycare, she wasn't really wanting to be there in the daycare. So she came to my office and she had lunch with me.
Oh.
And today I was sitting in my academic head's office, and she came there and she held my hand and she asked me to stand up from there, and she said, "Ma'am, अपने room में चलो, ये अच्छा नहीं है, ये सुंदर नहीं है." And I was like, look at her, that the principal's office is better. I mean, it's more beautiful than the academic head's office. So, ma'am, let's go there and sit there. So, such wonderful things that you see. And then she was going out. So she tells me, "Ma'am, आप रोना नहीं, मैं अभी आती हूँ." I was like, so cute, so cute. So yeah, amazing.
So you see, this is the life when they don't have that sort of cunningness or anything. A pure mind they have. They don't know about that, what you call in Hindi, dunyadari. So they know innocence is over there, and because she might be coming to your office only, she is very cozy with satisfied with your office. That is why she said, let's go into that office. This auntie is not good, you are good, let's go along in that office. So that is also a good thing which happens many a times, that makes your day that makes your day. And that is why you feel every day that we should get up and get ready and move to our school, because these beautiful ones we are going to look again and we have to meet them again. In holidays, it becomes sometimes it becomes so difficult to spend time that we want to get back to those small kids. Thank you so much, Shivani ma'am. It's a pleasure you have come over again. and
My pleasure.
meeting you after so long time is also very good. Thank you so much, ma'am. Next, we have Shamla Salim, ma'am. She is the principal of Oro Global Schools in Kerala. Welcome, Shamla, ma'am. It is the first time you have come on the show. Thank you so much, and came to know about you from. I think you're from Malalapuram, ma'am. You're on mute, ma'am.
Yes, I live in Palakkad, but I work in Malappuram, different districts of Kerala.
Yeah, Malappuram is it's also a big district where you are working over there,
Yeah,
and you are the Southeast Secretary also there, right?
yeah,
You are,
yeah.
and President is Naufal sir now, or anybody else has changed now?
Nafal sir is in another Sahodaya. Recently,
Okay.
he shifted to another place.
Yeah, he told me that he shifted to some other place, right. Thank you so much, Shamla ma'am, for coming up to the show. Please let us know about your educational journey.
Great to be here, sir. Myself, born and brought up in Kerala itself. After my education, I have shifted to Saudi Arabia. I have been working there for about maybe 17 years, I think. I think that is the time I nurtured myself. I have seen a lot of people from across the world. I have learned a lot. And my journey was like, as a teacher, it was a choice and chance. Both were there.
Okay.
In the beginning, I never thought of being a teacher, but happened to be a teacher. But once I joined as a teacher, especially a maths teacher, I really, loved the journey and I enjoyed, and it was full of challenges every time compared to any other person. I think maths teacher's journey is always challenging. Every day, it's a new challenge. That I've really enjoyed. And after living there for some time, we have been back to Kerala. And when I settled back, I have joined again as a teacher. I was in administrative post in Saudi Arabia in different cities, but still, when I came back, I just wanted to be back as a teacher, back to teaching job. I really enjoy that. Even now, as a principal, I should say that I'm an accidental principal. I love teaching still. I do teach even now. So that is something.
That's amazing, ma'am. So this school was, I mean, from how long did you have been in this school, ma'am?
I'm here in this present school for the past 8 years.
Past 8 years. That's
years.
a good time. You see, when you have a very good management, you don't
Yeah,
move
that school is something different. I wanted to say
Sure, please.
We have a simple motto. It's think beyond. It says all. And presently, we speak about experiential learning and all those. In the new NEP, we have been doing it for the past 1 decade. So I feel that we were flying a bit higher every time, and that has given a lot of challenges to the teachers and mind-blowing experiences to the children in the school.
Right.
I always say, Aura is not a school for them. It's just a feeling, it's just like a part of their life. It's not just a school to be from morning to evening, not like that. And they involve, ma'am was talking about life skill. I would like to know more about that, ma'am. I'm going to call you up and know more because we involve a lot of life skills into our teaching.
Sure. Yes, definitely.
So every time I look forward for such a person to know more.
So yes, of course. See, even the NCRT curriculum, NCRT books also have incorporated life skills into their chapters. However, these can be taken in isolation as well. So when we're talking about resilience and grit and all of those things, so I take those sessions. I'm really passionate about it, and I really don't give that chance to anybody because somewhere I feel that they might not be able to do justice to it, and I'll be really happy to share my experiences and my journey for it.
That's amazing, ma'am. Wonderful, like-minded people when they meet together, and that is why we had created this platform that like-minded people should come up and exploring new areas. Like I was knowing very less about Kerala, about so many states we know very less. And when you're connected with them, when you're knowing them and their thoughts and values, it interchanging of these thoughts, makes a difference in your life. So when I went into the Kerala, I had got up with Noful sir and with Mr. Unikrishnan sir and all. So when I went with them, they are, I think you have two or three Saudiyas there in your particular
Malappuram
district.
itself, yeah.
Malappuram itself, you have two to three Saudiyas. So both of them are presidents of their own Saudiyas. So when I got connected with them, I came to know about different things. Like many things are there, we are doing the same, but still, the thoughts are a little different when you move up from place to place. So that is the uniqueness of the technology. Thanks to the technology, that was only positivity which came with the pandemic. That this came 10 years before it had to come, and we are getting connected. We never thought we will be meeting, or we virtually also will be meeting with each other. That's a wonder of the technology. Thank you so much, Shamla ma'am, for coming. It's wonderful. We'll have a wonderful time also onwards also.
Pleasure.
We have Mr. N.S. Punya sir. He is the principal of a residential school in Bela, MP, that is Maharaja Public School. Sir is a very busy personality, but still he gave us time to join up the show, because the duty in the residential school is much more than a day school principal. So we can understand his problems. We can understand your pain, sir. That actually a principal of a residential school has a duty of 24 into 7. Welcome, sir. Punya sir, we had been waiting
Thank you
since
so much, sir.
I had
And
been
that's
observing. Yeah, I had been observing you in media for a long time, and I was thinking when Punya sir will come up to the show. Now, finally, you are over here, sir. Over to you, sir. Please let us know about yourself, sir, your educational journey.
Thank you so much, sir. And very good evening to one and all present over here. And I'm basically from Sonipat, but I had started my career as a computer operator from Nazabugat area. I think Shivani ma'am knows it very well. And in my total career is total years are to say 17 years. And as a PGT and then vice principal, and after that 7 years I have spent as a principal. And in this journey, I have changed three schools as a principal. In starting, I had joined in Junjunu, Jai Public School. It is also one of the renowned residential school which provides the coaching of Sainik and military school. And after that, I joined in Chhattisgarh, that is Raigad. It is just in the corner of the India, nearby the border of Odisha. And then after that, I felt that I must, because it was so far, and my family is again, see, they were missing Delhi, but I said that we must enjoy the different cultures, different states. Then I joined. This is my third session in this school, a very renowned school, and I'm very happy here. And recently, I have been elected as a president of the Satna and Panna districts out there. So it is very good point.
Congra-
so that I can,
Congratulations, sir. Congratulations,
so
sir, for elected as president of Saudi. One more Saudi president over here in the show.
Right.
Sir, did you join as a school teacher in a residential school, or you had joined in a day school?
Sir, I joined the school, the same school where I had completed my 10th class as a computer
Okay.
teacher.
So that
And
was
it
a
was-
residential or a day school?
No, sir, it was day school.
Okay.
And actually, from starting, I have been thinking to join residential school. And I have been interviewed many times in different residential schools like Rajasthan. Rajasthan always, fascinates me. But luckily or unluckily, we can say I was not selected as a teacher. But after some time, luckily in the same area, I was selected as a principal. And at the same time, I met one of the principal there who rejected me as a TGT, but I was selected as a PGT principal in that area. So it is good. And because, sir, I'm very conscious about my health, as well as I know if you want to inculcate all your qualities, virtues, in the students, and you want to be more role model, and you want to inspire the students, you have to choose the residential school. Although it is very hectic, and just after this 6:30, my evening classes will start. And again, I would be here, but I will not go. I would be here till 8:30, from 8 to 8:30 right now today. And I know that if I would go to my camp, my staff quarter, then it will be little bit difficult for me to come back. So I decided to stay back because I don't want to disappoint you. Because last time I annoyed you also.
No, it's okay, sir.
So really,
And it's good, sir. I mean, I always wanted to have an experience of which I missed of a residential school. Residential school experience is something different as compared to all your whatever experience you have. So that I'm missing and will be always missing. So once I had an opportunity to join army school as a principal, but the finalist who was with me, he had an experience of 20 years as PGT or whatever it was in army school or as a principal also. So there also, I would just wanted to go into the army school. This was the only point in the final round. After so many rounds, I was not selected just because I did not had any experience of army school.
sir, if
Again,
you want,
yeah,
if you are interested, then definitely you would get a call next session. But you have to decide for that, and I
right.
can ensure you will get that chance.
Name for the army school or for the residential school?
Residential school. Sir.
Oh, that's great, sir. Amazing. I'll get back to you, sir. Now we have to see for the family also, for the kids also, what's going on. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'll get back to you. That is why I was after you, sir. I thought something good is in you. To getting connected with you. See, that opportunity has come me live on the session also.
So, Sarabjit ji, you manifested that and the opportunity is there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's his courtesy. He's telling that now he's the president. वैसे भी his school name is Maharaja Public School. When you are in a Maharaja's public school, so you are a Maharaja also. Why? Thank you so much, Punya sir. It's wonderful that you have joined. Thank you so much for coming. Let's come up. Let's come up to the next personality, which is Nirmal Shah sir. He's the co-founder of Counting Well. He's the expert of today. Let me introduce him formally. He's the co-founder of Counting Well, a maths learning app for middle schoolers. The goal is to make maths learning easy, anxiety-free, and participative for children across the country. Their focus is to help the so-called average students become more confident with maths and develop great problem-solving skills. They step in where school teachers are not able to provide personalized attention due to lack of time and bandwidth. He's also a designing career person, and he had made lessons on life courses for the age of 10 to 14 years group. He built around mathematics that kids must know that maths matter and it will matter throughout their life. The best way to do that is to show them how. So informally speaking about sir, that I met him in one of the show again as a co-panelist, and I met him, sir, what is this all about mathematics, and why it is not from the basic classes from grade 1, why from the middle school you have created this. So he just opened my eyes that, sir, since ages there had been a phobia of mathematics, especially during the middle school, because the number of chapters during say the number of chapters till grade 5, they are less and easy. You enjoy the mathematics over there. When you see the changes in the children when it comes from grade 6 onwards, when the chapters increase, geometry or arithmetic, whatever it comes up more, then there's a pressure from everyone, from the teachers, from the parents. Now maths is going to be a big thing for you. At the very same time, the maths phobia creates up. Frankly speaking, I'm saying it again many a times when I'm inviting principals for this show. They say, I love to come to your show, but please not about mathematics. Please, that's not my forte. That's not my subject. I won't be able to speak anything about that. See, when we are talking about a discussion, we are not talking about the maths problem, the maths question. I won't give you integration and give you questions on that, or probability and give questions on that. But actually, we are principals. We have to talk about everything. I'm an accountancy teacher. I have to talk about physics also, and I have to talk about mathematics also. So see, when a principal or administrator, I should not say this, but many of them, they have this phobia that we cannot speak about them. What about the students? It used to happen in our times, maybe 25 years, 30 or 40 years back also, and it's happening right now also. The same thing is going on. That phobia is increasing. The same way of method of teaching is going on still in the schools, where the teacher is going to the class writing up 2 3 questions, explaining them. Okay, this is done. Now the exercise is done. Chapter is done. Again, that is cultivating that the maths is going away. Maths is everywhere in life. Their children have to understand. Even a housewife working at home, maths is there. So mathematics is always over there. Without mathematics, there is no life. But again, the child, that creates a phobia because he's not getting what should be given to him. Although maths is the easiest subject, as we say to the students. So when I met, coming back to Nirmal sir, when I met him, so I thought that this is a very, very, very important topic to talk about mathematics, because in middle school, this phobia was there ages before. Till now, it is there, and it will keep on moving until and unless we will not have any sort of resolution like this, where we have these type of things. So I came to him. He told me that he has developed an app where it is helping the students as well as the teachers also, with the use of artificial intelligence that can be used for the children. At the very same time, very beautiful thing about it is the sir is providing it free of cost to the schools. They are not charging anything for that. That is the best part, because after pandemic, the managements are not ready to spend anything on extra thing, because they don't understand about the things. They say the only necessity should be taken care of. Rest we'll just see afterwards. Nirmal sir, welcome and thank you so much again for coming up to the show. And you are so much busy, but then you're taking time to coming to our show. Please let us know about how did it came into your mind, the courage in your mind, because the people, they come up with different subjects and all. You came up with mathematics, with the principals are also afraid of, with that particular. And how did it came into your mind to start up from the middle school only and not from a grade one? Sir, over to you.
Thank you for inviting me again, sir. It's always been a fun and enlightening experience at the same time, being part of all your shows. Um, Now, while you said that, a lot of people brought up various points about life skills, about, there's a mathematics teacher amongst us here as well. You yourself are an accountancy teacher. So all of you would know that maths is also a life skill, right? So all said and done, the ability to work with numbers, whether you say that it's numeracy, whether you call it mathematics, whatever name you give it, it is a skill that we require in our life. I learned that from my father when I was very young. He could crunch numbers like anything. He could read a balance sheet, and he used to trade in stocks at that time, about I don't know, 30 years ago. And he could look at the balance sheet and say how this company is doing, and all of it was just about numbers, right? So that was the first time when I realized that mathematics is so important. What I also experienced during my childhood was a great interaction I had with my own maths teacher. And that interaction was such that, I had just moved from a Tamil Nadu state board school to a CBSE school. And there was a huge change in the content and in the syllabus. And this was when I moved to seventh grade. So just about getting into this middle school range. And what I realized is that I was not able to cope up with anything at all. The first unit test, I failed miserably. And what really happened there was that it was a new school. There were about 20, 22 children in my class. And the maths teacher was able to give individual attention to all of us. She actually knew where I was having a problem and why I was having a problem. She used to call us home in groups. She would actually feed us. This was a time when, they would not say that come and do tuition. They would say, come home, I will teach you everything. I will even give you food. You sit down and you will leave only once you learn what I have to teach you. So that was the kind of interaction and experience that I had when I was a child. And move forward about 30 years later, my son was going through a similar phase. He was in the middle school, and when I saw him move from that fifth grade to middle school, what I saw was a change in his attitude towards studies as a whole, but especially towards mathematics. Earlier he used to come home very excited, sit down, do his homework, really enjoy studying. But from sixth grade onwards, I could see that change, that he was starting to feel that this was becoming more of a chore, more of a task that he is forced to complete rather than he's enjoying to complete. And I started to try and understand why this change is happening. Of course, when they get into this teenage, a lot of these age related growth related issues start coming. But also, what I realized is that his class had almost 50 plus children, and they would absolutely not be able to give that individual attention to every child as to what problem they are facing. The other thing that I observed was that when they try to solve maths problems in particular, what really happens is that they are focusing on the formula, they're focusing on a specific concept, and there is one problem or two problems which are already solved for them, and then they come back home and try to solve the rest of the problems. And what they don't do is focus on trying to understand the problem itself. And as we started digging deep, what I realized is that in trying to solve maths problems, there are other skills which children require. There is something called a comprehension skill or a language skill which they require. And that is something which is not given attention to in the maths class, right? So they need to be able to understand a problem before jumping to solve the problem. But what kids normally do is that they straight away try to figure out this is the formula I have to use and let me solve the problem. Second thing is what we call as a modeling skill, where they have to be able to kind of model a solution before actually solving the problem, which means that they have to determine that there might be two or three different steps required. There might be two or three different concepts that they have to mix before solving a problem. And this especially happens from sixth grade onwards, right? They start getting the word problems, they start mixing multiple concepts, and all of these things happen. And he was not able to focus on all that. His thought process was not aligned with that kind of thinking. Their thinking was, here is a problem. If the problem is coming from the triangles chapter, then I have to apply some formula of triangles, right? So if you give them a problem in isolation, they don't know how to solve it because they don't know what chapter it is coming from. So they don't know what concept to apply. So this is where the problem happens, right? So this is the, in a way, a life skill which they have to know. They have to know that they have to be able to understand the problem. They have to be able to model a solution. They have to be able to determine which concepts they have to put together before they start solving the problem. And we tried to do some experiments on him as a child, and it was a very interesting experience for us as well. That's when my co-founder and I, we started talking about creating a solution around this whole thing. This was almost 6 years ago, and we started trying to understand what really goes into this whole teaching learning process, and we created an assessment. So what we did was, the first step we took was, we said let's create an assessment to determine this whole theory that we have, that there is there really a comprehension problem, because schools are not talking about it, schools are not talking about modeling problems, so why are we saying that this is really a problem, right? So we created an assessment where we said, let us determine if we given a problem, are the children not able to solve it because of this lack of comprehension skills? Are they not able to solve it because of lack of modeling skills? Or is it really a pure maths numeracy problem, right? And then we took it to a few schools. We requested some schools that can we do a pilot of this kind of assessment in your school? So we did this, I think, about 4 or 5 years back. We took about a year to actually structure this whole thing, and then we went to these schools and we did these assessments with about 1,500 students. And our theory started to kind of take shape. It got validated. We found that yes, comprehension or language comprehension is a problem. Modeling is a problem. And calculation is not so much of a problem actually with children. That basic number operations most kids are able to do if you give it to them in isolation. If you say that multiply two numbers, most likely they'll be able to do it. When you try to give them a problem statement and say that now you try to determine what is the information available, is a distractor, that is where they start getting stuck. Now, another interesting thing happened, that the principal said that, can you give this same assessment to our teachers? And we said, fine, why not? And we did that. And what we found is that the teachers themselves are not able to solve or are having the same issues that the children have. So obviously it will flow down, right? What the teachers are not able to understand themselves, how will they be able to teach the children? The second thing we found was even more shocking and even more interesting to us, was that one of the teachers called me and said that your problem that you have given here is a sixth grade problem. I am an eighth grade teacher, so I cannot solve this problem. And this was very strange to us, because we said, especially in maths, if you learn something in sixth grade, it's like riding a bicycle, right? What you learn will just keep adding up. But that was not the case. So what we realized is that there are a lot of issues which are beyond just teacher capability. One, of course, yes, teacher capability is an issue, but also the fact that the syllabus is so vast, teachers are forced to complete specific topics within a specific period of time, no matter what, means that they are not able to give attention to the fact that children need these other skills like comprehension, language skills, modeling skills. They even need to have this prior knowledge, right? So one of the things we realize is that when the teacher says that I'm an eighth grade teacher, I cannot solve a sixth grade problem, how the child is going to attempt it. They have to have that previous knowledge of the sixth. So how do we fill that gap? We realize that a lot of these learning gaps are getting created because of this situation as well. So we took all of this and kind of made it a very nice story, took it to the principals and said, look, these are the problems we have found. And we felt very good about ourselves that we have identified all these problems. Principal said, yes, we know about all these problems. We need solutions. You don't give us problems. Everybody gives us problems. So that is when we realized that counting well has to be more than just an assessment which lays out all the problems in front of the teachers or the principals. So that's where we started creating this whole complete solution, which is where we do this kind of a assessment for learning or a formative assessment. We determine what are these skill gaps, what are these concept gaps, and then based on that, we create a personalized learning plan for every child. Now, if the child of eighth grade does not know something which he should have learned in sixth grade, can we determine that and put that as part of the learning plan? If we determine that the child is not able to comprehend the problem because of the language issues, can we help the child fix that before trying to tell him that now you try to solve the whole math problem? So that's how we created the whole counting well solution. And we took almost 3 years of research and development to just create this whole content structure and determine this way of doing the assessment in order to align this personalized learning for the children. And that's how it was built. And now we are here. We've been out for about 3 years now. For the last couple of years, a lot of students have been using it as individuals. And then this year, we have started working with schools directly, because what we also felt was that instead of just making it a part of an individual's learning, because then it becomes more of optional. If I want to do it, I'll do it. We said, can we make it a part of the whole school teaching learning process itself? And we are really happy to see that a lot of schools have started adopting it. Right now, nearly almost 400 schools have started using it, and we are seeing more and more schools adopting it. So it's great. NEP's push is also one part of it, because they say technology should be included, numeracy skills should be developed. So that is helping us, that is helping the schools, and this is where we are today.
The best and the most important thing I found it in your app, Nirmal sir, is that if the child who has not studied, or during the pandemic, he had his 6th and 7th grade, now he's in grade 8. And especially all the exams were done by the Google Baba during the online classes. And this can be done with all the subjects, but when it comes to mathematics, compromise can be done because the level increases with the chapters. And the best thing I found in your app is that if he's in grade 8, like my son is doing, his school has this app. So he's in grade 9 right now. Some polynomials he was not doing. So he came up to the concept of 8. Then it took it to the concept of 7. He recovered the 7th one. He recovered the 8th one. He again came back to the 9th one. So this is the best thing I found in that the AI based, these type of assessments what are there in that, they will not see that कि सीधे आपको 9th का सिखाएगा, वो आपको नहीं कर पाओगे तो 8th पे लेके जाएगा, वो भी नहीं कर पा रहे वो 7th पे लेके जाएगा, 7th में रिकवर करके आपको 8th में वापस लाएगा, then it will bring it, because from the root the concept should be clear. And this has happened a lot even after the pandemic also. It was a problem during the regular schools before pandemic also, but so this problem has increased because the student they never did mathematics during this pandemic. My son or everybody's son or students, they didn't did mathematics regularly. And also at the very same time when the summer vacations are there, that is also a gap. There also students don't practice mathematics. Again, so when they have these type of AI based learnings, which they can do anytime, anywhere with their mobile and all, that is very comfortable thing. The recovering of the subject is very important, which I found it to be the best part of your product, sir. Thank you so much, Nirmal sir.
8th grade teacher will not be able to say that I cannot teach 6th grade concept.
Right, absolutely right. And again, we'll talk about that also, because when the child will be doing the assessment, the teacher will be able to come to know that which topic they are lacking. क्या बच्चे को नहीं आ पा रहा, because 40 students, 40 minutes, they say that we have so many exercises, so much of syllabus to do. How can we pay attention to all the children? But now it happens that each and every student graph, that data goes up to the teacher, that how much he has done, how much, where it is he lacking, कहाँ पे इसकी हमने extra classes लेके assessment लेके, extra classes assessment का भी it is being done by the app, because again it is taking back to the last class, then to the last class, वो recover करके then bringing them forward again, as well as the teacher can also work on that along with the students. Thank you, Nirmal sir. We'll talk about the further also about the topic. Let's come up to the next part of the show. We have a shortage of time. Please make your answers very precise. We'll come up to Shivani ma'am. Shivani ma'am, we'll come up to you. We want to know that in your opinion, why do middle school students lose interest in mathematics?
Right. In fact, quite a lot of pertinent points have been covered by Mr. Nirmal here. And I completely relate with the points that have been made by him. However, one point that I would like to mention here is that, I would say that it doesn't really start in the middle school. The process starts much before that, right from the foundational years. Because what is happening in the foundational years itself is, as Nirmalji was mentioning about the teachers, that the 8th grade teacher was saying that she isn't able to solve the problem of 6th grade. So I would say that due to the lack of awareness of what kind of resources are available, like these apps and other gamification apps, and also the other teaching learning material which gives concrete experiences to the students, like that of Jodo Gyan material, and many other companies are there who prepare the teaching learning material. So people aren't aware of them, then are not trained about them. So they still continue to teach in a conventional method. I'll give you an example, very simple 2 examples that I'll give you. Say when the concept of place values is introduced, many teachers are not able to explain the concept place value, but then they would introduce the ones and the tens. The moment 10 starts, they would write 0 under ones and 1 under tens, and then further. When it comes to multiplication, say for example, in grade 3, the teacher would write, when she is doing the multiplication with a number which is at the tens position, she would write a cross or a 0 without explaining that why at the first place there is a cross or a 0. And then when she is multiplying with the 100th, the number with at the 100th place, why 2 crosses or 2 zeros would be mentioned. So unless the children are very well aware of these logics, these reasons, that because we are multiplying with a number which is at the 100th place or the 10th place, hence at the ones place or the ones and tenths place, there would not be any number. So we are starting from the 100th place or the 10th place, like that, right? So unless that kind of a clarity in the foundational years is not there, and there the children are in such a position that they need concrete experiences, not an abstract thinking. They do not know, but they learn. They learn what their teachers have taught them. So this learning thing is weakening their base. It is not getting prepared. And hence, when they come in the middle school, it becomes a burden with a lot of syllabus. Now, again, as it was mentioned by my colleague here, that the syllabus increases multifolds. So when the syllabus increases multifolds, the teachers are in a rush of completing the syllabus. So what I have observed in classes is that the teacher would ask the questions from those students who would raise their hands. Why? Because they would quickly get the answers and they can move on completing with the syllabus, right? So they would quickly keep on going, and they will never ask the students who would not raise their hands. So what happens is, why? Because they will have to be probed, more probing, more time going in. Hence, the syllabus completion would lack. So the teachers would not devote that kind of a time. Again, it impacts the students' learning. So, so not an individual attention, even if there are less number of students in a class, but not less than 30 students will be there in any of the schools. So keeping that kind of an attention, giving that kind of an attention on those 30 children becomes impossible, individual attention. Next, I would say about these students are going for tuitions also. So when they are going for tuitions, the tuition teachers teach in a certain manner, whereas the schools teach in a certain manner. For example, my school is an experiential learning school. So my teachers teach multiplication in different methods like box multiplication, lattice multiplication, besides a simple algorithm kind of a multiplication. Whereas when the child is going for to learn from the tutor will teach only one method, and that method is the only correct method because the tutor comes from a conventional background. So there again, the child is in a struggle what to go ahead with, because if I do like this, whether my teacher is going to give me marks or not, right? So that happens. Then again, as Nirmalji mentioned about the example that he had about himself as well as his son, I was in a similar situation when my son was in grade 10th. Believe you me, in the month of October, he tells me, Mama, take me out of the school. I can't study. I don't want to study. And I was like, what? February, you have your 10th boards, and October 2nd, you are telling me that I can't study. And when I probed, I got to know that he is having lots and lots of fears and jitters about studying mathematics. He had the phobia about maths, that mom was performing very well and I am not able to perform. So that anxiety of performance was actually kind of ruining him. And again, it comes on the teachers, I would say here, the role of the teacher. So his school teacher was not able to give that kind of a platform to him, what my mathematics teacher gave. My mathematics teacher means the teacher who taught me mathematics in grade 11th and 12th. I spoke to her and she told me, give him in my hands. Believe you me, 3 months my son went to her. She used to feed him more than teach him. Same as Nirmalji mentioned. And I was like, I mean, seriously? I mean, this happens? Yes. So she used to feed him more. She became the second mother to my son, and my son scored 74 marks. And I was very happy. And then he was like, Mama, I will take maths as an additional subject in 11th, though because he wanted to study fashion designing. So maths was not a subject that he had to take, but then he was ready enough to take it as a additional subject, which I told no. Why? Because I said, you know, basic mathematics and that is what is required. I don't want you to spend more time on studying mathematics now as an additional, because that won't be taught in the school. And you will have to put in your own efforts only. Plus your designing and everything would take your good sweet time. So don't put yourself into that kind of a pressure. But that's the impact of a teacher. So the teacher, again, a student loves that subject. A student would love that subject whose teacher he loves or she loves. So that's another very important thing.
Absolutely
Somewhere
right.
mathematics teachers, I think, are always under the pressure of performance. They also need to bring out the results from the students. So under their pressure, they are also anxious and they put that pressure unconsciously or consciously on the students, and hence the result.
It is being
So-
said that you can identify the math teacher in the school with a very serious face and lot of pressure on his face. You can understand that this is a math teacher for sure. So that reflects to the students also, and hence
Absolutely.
hence the problems arise. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Because this is a topic I told you also earlier yesterday also, that it's a topic where it is needed in each and every school. It should reach everywhere. Every principal should listen to this, as well as should come over here and understand actually this is the biggest problem, the rooted problem which is happening from decades. And
True.
this should be taken care of. The methods of teaching or AI based tools, whatever should be done, that something should be done for the kids, because their parents are also sending to us just because they have faith on us, and we should do the best what we can do as we are doing for our kids also. Thank you so much,
One
sir.
more thing I would
Yeah.
like to mention in a very quick this thing, as about the comprehension thing. Um, right in the foundational years, again, the comprehension is very important. So literacy and numeracy, what NEP is talking about, I think a lot of importance needs to be given to that right from the foundational years. And when I look at the results, the board results, and it really puts me in a question mark. Are the language skills, are the children that proficient that they're getting 100 on 100 in English, in Hindi? How's that possible? And if that's possible, then why are the children not able to do mathematics? Because they're not able to understand the questions. Why are they not doing that well in the other subjects? Because that's where, why are they not able to crack the IELTS and the PT and all of these kinds of exams? Why do they have to take an extra coaching for cracking these exams? So that's another question that
You're
needs to be
absolutely
addressed.
you're absolutely right, ma'am. Many parents, they come up to us and they say, my child is an average student, below average student. So I do ask them. Everybody might be asking that, are they average or below average in this mobile? They say no, they are perfect in that. That means he's not an average one. He doesn't has less mind. The only thing is the concentration towards the study is less. The child is not able to understand the things properly. That is more important. So the school roles comes up, that how they are going to work up with their kids, because the parents do not know how to take care of. As of now, the so many things have come now. Parents also know that what the child is doing inside the school even, but still the role of the school is more important. Than how can we take up with different things, ways of teaching, AI based tools, whatever AI based tools, so they have make the work of teachers more easy and perfect also. So that we know very well, after, I think everybody will agree, after 4 or 5 years, or little more than that, there will be no books. Only the child will be coming up with a tablet or a laptop, and they'll study from that. Of course, teachers will always remain, but when the technology is improving, it will move forward only. It won't come back or won't stay at that place only. So that is also needed. Thank you, ma'am. Let's come to Rakesh sir. Rakesh sir, we want to know your views on the saying that maths becomes a phobia in middle school instead of fun. What are your views on this, sir? A very short answers, sir, please. We are in shortage of time.
Uh, I'm absolutely agreed with sir and ma'am. Whatever they have shared, it's absolutely true. And the reason, what I think is that is normal traditional chalk and talk method, which I mean, normally the teachers use in the middle school is the main cause. We need to find out some other better way to teach mathematics. Only then this problem can be solved. Whereas the real practical examples need to be given along with the mathematics formulas. It can help young brains, good students to understand mathematics in a better way. A lot of application examples can be shared so that they understand the topic very well. For example, normally, uh, if a teacher come to a class and say that, okay, today I'll teach Pythagoras theorem, and since you all know what is the formula, it is a square plus b square is equal to c square, or so simply hypotenuse c is equal to under root a square plus b square. That's it. His job is finished. He'll just prove all the formulas and all. And for those students who don't raise hand, I'm very much agreed with ma'am. They are not even touched that beta. What is the problem? So there some practical examples need to be shared along with the simple formula. For example, there two boys sitting on the beach and they want to go to a taco truck or to purchase some any other food item, there are two options. Either they can go through a hypotenuse way, or they're having the option to go through either A and use the pavement to move to that particular truck. Then who will reach first? So this I'm sharing just one small example. If they will use the length and breadth of, it is obvious it will take more time for that student or that child to reach that particular. And the one who will use the shorter route, that means the hypotenuse, it will take less time. So this kind of small examples need to be shared with the children when the teachers teach mathematics. And there was one very good question which was shared in some international Olympiad, which I don't remember. Suppose there's a train who's traveling from Delhi to Chennai at the speed of 100 kilometers per hour. Length of the train is 100 meters. And after half an hour, another train departed from Delhi on same track with the speed of 200 kilometers per hour. After how much time the second train will overtake the first one? Then most of the Indian students, they were very fast in calculation. They just solved the question and then they said, ma'am, this much of time will be required to by the second train to overtake the first. And at the same time, there was some other student from other country. He said, I'm sorry, sir, this question is absolutely wrong. The second train is moving on the same track. It will never overtake the first one. So these are the things which are missing in the students. They need to learn all important skills, whether it's comprehension or all sort of 21st century skills which are required. I mean, it can be critical thinking, it can be communication, it can be computer skills, it can be logical thinking, all other skills which are there. So they need to learn, only then they'll come up with
absolutely
the
right,
right
sir.
place.
Absolutely right, sir. Thank you so much, Rakesh, sir. We'll come to Shamla ma'am. Shamla ma'am, we'd like to know your views in precise that how mathematics becomes a phobia in middle school instead of fun.
Thank you, sir. In fact, as Rakesh sir said, I 100% absolutely agree with the Shivani ma'am and Nirmal sir. More than my opinion, I would say 2 or 3 points where I found how we can tackle this. We know, all of us know that there are problems. So I feel how to tackle is an issue. Being a teacher, practicing math teacher, what I found is children, they are not, as Nirmal sir started, they are not taught to read the question and then how to analyze it, how to, in short, how to comprehend it, and how to use their, how to connect their knowledge, what they had in the previous class or what they had to get from the previous class, which they do not have right now. They are not able to connect. They always, what they do, okay, they read it somehow, they get some numbers from that. Then with the knowledge, maybe they don't know the concept at all, but they are not bothered. What is the concept? They know, they connect with that. Maybe the chapter itself is different sometimes. They're not realizing what is the need of the. In fact, where we have to start is in primary classes. You asked a question like why middle class it is getting tougher. I would say that in lower classes, they completely obey the teacher. They just see what is done on the board, they copy down, they go home, parent do the same thing, sometimes or tuition teacher do the same thing. Everyone does the same, like how to do is they know. They do not think how it has come. Why do we do this? Never that question is asked. Why is never asked? And again, another thing that ma'am was saying about the tuitions, I'm fighting for the past 10 years since I came back to Kerala, and even when I was in Gulf also. I'm trying to convince people that school is different and tuition center is different. We just, either they miss school also, they are into tuition centers. I believe when they give 10 model papers in the tuition center, they know, they just change the number. They just change the number and they know how to place the numbers, change the number and place it, and they never know the concept. That is the reason our children are finding in the middle school and even in 11th and grade 11 and grade 12, same crush, like that, that block happens. That is the reason they are not able to do well in the competitive exams, because they are not thinking. They are never thinking. They are not taught to think. They are not to ask questions to themselves. They are not taught to read questions. This is what I would say.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Shamla ma'am, I do agree with you, because one more important reason for this is that the parents actually they depend upon the tuition classes and they don't have faith on the school classes. This is what they're given advantage. We are also struggling.
I would like to add, the last 8 years, I have been fighting with the parents every time, because in my school, it's a school management policy. We do not send children for tuitions. Sometimes without our knowledge, I know I'm saying in a public platform, without our knowledge, sometimes they may be sending. Otherwise, once we know, we try to convince them. And every year it happens, especially in grade 10, first 2 months, we really, it's me personally fight with them, because I'm the person who teaches, and try to convince, half-minded, they stop the tuitions. And that they, at the end of the academic year, they realize the children's capability. And June we started, June 1st we started the academic year. Till July 1st, I did not teach. Every time I go to the class, I say them, we trust you. So learn to trust yourself, your skills.
Right.
Convincing children and then
but
to
ma'am,
the
mama,
parents.
that is a big problem.
Also,
We are also, this is also a big problem when we are saying to the parents, when you are sending your kids to the tuition means it is our failure. But still they don't understand that, and that is a struggle we have to do. We will always have to do that, because that has become a culture for sure. But we'll keep on trying for that. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Shamla ma'am. We'll come up to Punya sir. Punya sir, you have a very vast experience, especially with the boarding schools. So please suggest few ways in which a teacher can make maths more interesting. Sir, you're on mute.
Sir, there is one famous quote: practice makes the man perfect. The same way, practice makes the math perfect. Right. So on this, in this thought, on this quote, I always like to work. And second,
Sir, you're on mute, sir.
is it okay now? Hello. So research shows that maths phobia starts with maths anxiety, right? It's a problem that affects students worldwide, right? It is caused by the constant frustrations associated with the inability to understand the maths concepts, coupled with other stress factors, which end up with creating low self-confidence. Maths become a dreaded topic. Got my point? So luckily, if we work on the maths anxiety, it can be controlled from the age of 8 years old, right? If we start working on this, then we can easily remove this maths phobia from the students. And in my opinion, if you ask, then there are 3-4 points where we can work. First one is, as ma'am told us, that experiential learning, and ma'am has the experiential learning school. The same way, application of the mathematics in real life, we have to correlate, as Rakesh sir also has told us, that we have to correlate all the topics, we have to correlate, we have to give the real life examples, right? And we have to, the same way, there is AIL, art integrated learning also. And we can blend some, funny games also and group games also for the mathematics. And all 3-4 points are there. We have to blend, and we have to reduce that maths phobia from the brains of the students.
Amazing, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your views. We'll come up to Nirmal sir. Nirmal sir, as an expert, first of all, if you want to say anything about what the principals have said, and please let us more about it, the 20 minutes concept, and whatever additional things are there in counting well. or we can say that why should we use counting well, why it is so exclusive that we should use it, because it is helping a lot, it is for sure. And it is also good that you're giving it us without any cost. But then also there are certain things we have to understand, that why we should use this product as counting well. Over to you, sir.
So first, I would like to comment on a point that Shamla ma'am made, and that was very interesting. What she said, that we tell the students to trust in themselves, right? And I think that is a very, it's a key factor, especially because one, it starts with parents. The parents themselves start telling the children that maths is the toughest subject. You will never be able to do maths, and maths is this, and maths is that, and all that, right? So we start bringing down their confidence right at that stage. And then, of course, in the class and among the peers and all of these things, you start hearing about maths being so difficult, or that you as an individual are not going to be able to cope with maths. So, what we have realized is that more than anything else, the role of something like counting well should be not just to teach a particular topic, that is already the role of the teacher, and the teacher is there to do that. But what we really need to do is to build that confidence in the child, that yes, you can do it, right? This is something which is achievable, this is something which is doable by you. You don't need to be a genius to be able to do these kind of things. So, and that's why one of the things which even Chandok sir said right in the beginning, that about when he was introducing me, is that we want to focus on the so-called average students, right? Those who are the well-performing students, the kids who score 90 plus in the class. For them to push that 90 to 95 or 95 to 98 is going to be just a little bit of effort. But the other kids are the ones who need the confidence building more than just the effort, right? So that's where we have to play a very important role. So what we have done, and this will answer your question as well, sir, ki what is our what is that key or important feature? What we have done is that we have, when we identify the child's learning ability and learning level. So for example, if we say that the child does not have the modeling skills, then why do we give them modeling questions? Now, this is what happens in the typical homework, that everybody gets the same set of questions. Now, if the kids are not at the same level, how are they going to be able to solve the same level of questions? So, what we do is that then we determine what is that level. Are you an eighth grade child who doesn't know a seventh grade concept? Then let us teach that first. Let us help you get that confidence that you are able to solve that seventh grade problem first. Then we will bring you back to your eighth grade. Or if you do not have the modeling skills, then let us first get you to achieve that level of skill first. So the kind of questions that we give, the kind of learning content that they see, when we say it is personalized, this is what we mean, that we differentiate it to the level of the child. And this is where all this difference also comes, right? A typical teacher in the classroom is one teacher to 30, 40 students, or even 50 students. Whereas here it is 1:1. There is one app, one child. Every child has his own app or his own learning path. We can create that learning path for every individual child. The app does not get tired. The teacher can get tired, can get frustrated, especially, if the child is asking what you think is a stupid question, right? And this is a very wrong thing to say, but this is what everybody says, right? This is a stupid question. It's not. From the child's perspective, it is not a stupid question. So how do we address that without pointing it out to the child? And this is where, in a way, you can say that it's very robotic, it's very detached, that that there's no emotion around it. But at the same time, the benefit that an app brings is that it does not tell the child that you are stupid, that you are dumb, or that you cannot do it. It does not tell the child that I am tired today, I cannot do this anymore. You want me to repeat the same thing 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, we will do it, right? So that's the difference and the value that something like this can bring. And it's a value add that we can bring to the teachers. So now that comes, there we come to the other side, right? That we keep saying that this is for the child, this is for the child. Are we alienating the teachers, or are we saying that the teacher does not have a role anymore? Which is also very wrong, because ultimately, as I said, the teacher's job is to teach, and our job is to keep building that confidence for the child. So what we do is that we create this kind of What we've done is that we've simplified it for the teacher, where we said that we will just create a simple homework module for you. The teacher just assigns a homework. The child does everything on the app. Now, when the child is doing this on the app, we do two things. One is that we determine the child's learning level and give that appropriate intervention to the child. At the same time, the teacher is now starting to see the results right down to the specific learning outcome that the child is not meeting. So for every chapter, we have broken it down into almost 15 to 20 learning outcomes per chapter. And now the teacher is able to see that this child has not met this specific learning outcome, or this child does not have this particular skill because of which they are not able to meet the learning outcome. So if the teacher has to give that personalized intervention, then they know exactly what intervention has to be given and why they have to give that intervention. Now, the other thing that also happens is typically, the children who are the smart ones are the ones who raise their hands, are the ones who ask the doubts. The others are always quiet in the classroom. So that means that the teacher, it's not even the teacher's mistake, right? The teacher does not even know that this child is not understood. Teacher assumes that either they have not understood because they are sitting in the back bench and they are anyway dumb children, or that they have understood and that's why they are not asking any questions. But really what is happening is that the children are also afraid of this whole possible humiliation which might be caused by other kids joking about it, right? If you ask a dumb question, then forget the teacher, even their friends will say that tumne to ye kya puch liya. So why, because of that, now the children are not asking questions in the class. So here what happens is that they don't have to ask the questions, but if they get something wrong, the teacher will automatically know in the report that they have not met this learning outcome and they don't know this particular topic concept, or they don't have this particular skill. So this is how we kind of overcome this hurdle where the children are not very interactive in the class as well. So they can interact with the app, but behind the scenes we are sharing that data with the teacher, and having that data available, the teacher should be able to give the right intervention.
That's amazing, sir, because children don't ask questions inside the class. They feel that they'll be bullied that "Hey, you're not able to do, tumko nahi aata," this and that. But when he's doing it with the app, with his own convenience, that whatever time he feels like, anytime at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock at night, he can have one-to-one, study with the teacher. Nobody's looking at him, so he feels more comfortable. That's great, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to the next round. Request to all the participants, please, a 60 seconds, a 1 minute answer is needed, please. I'll come up to Shivani ma'am. Shivani ma'am, we'd like to know your views on the saying that it is often seen that children try to learn mathematics instead of understanding it. What are your views on this? 60 seconds, ma'am.
Yes, because that's what is given to them right from the beginning, that they would start learning this instead of understanding the concept, because that's what is not taught to them. I really wish that, I don't know how many of you have watched the movie Hitchki, where Rani Mukherjee was teaching the children, and she was taking them to the fields, labs, all the places, whatever she could do. So if we have teachers like her in the real life, who takes multiple different ways of teaching, I'm sure the students would stop learning mathematics, but start understanding and applying the concepts, not just only in their assessments, but also in the real life.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Punya sir, we'll come up to you. We'll come up to you first. Please, we would like to know your views on the saying that the post-pandemic children have become more smarter. The teacher have to become more smarter than with the latest technology.
So definitely, there is no doubt that students are getting more smarter than the teachers these days, and lots of skills are there. And we can say, because there are so many, you can say, webinars are there on this 21st century skills. And among those skills, there are some, one literacy skill is there. And under that category, one media literacy is there, information literacy is there. So it is very easy. And if you work on the 4 C's, and then one flip is there in 4 C's, that is critical thinking, as sir told us, Rakesh Bhatia sir, creativity, collaboration, communication. because on the base of these learning skills, these 4 C's, then we can penetrate the brains, penetrate not in the in terms of that technical see penetration mean we can enter in their hearts, right? And if time to time we inform the students, we literate them with the literacy skills, information literacy is there, media literacy is there, that how to perfect, how to train the students, and how to train himself as a teacher. And after that, last one is life skills are there. And in this one short form is there, that is flips, flexibility, leadership, and initiative and productivity. So this is a bunch of, this is a blend of the skills. And among that skills, one of them is information literacy, and that is technology is there, but we have to be careful how to inform the students, how to make them aware about how to use those skills. So that is enough from my side.
Thank you so much, sir. But we'll request you to be there for 10 minutes more because we have a very important thing happening after this session. I mean, this after this, to what the speakers who are left, we'll wind up very shortly, sir. We'll come to Rakesh, sir. Rakesh, sir, we will come up to you a 60-second answers we need. That how does technology helps in making maths more interesting and easy? Your time starts now, sir.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you very much for this question, sir. And see, it is really important for all of us to understand that whatever resources we are having, we need to use all the resources very efficiently. Uh, we all do have maths lab in our schools, and we do have computer lab also, and language lab also. And in case if there's any school who's not having language lab or maths lab, uh, we can very easily convert our computer lab into digital maths lab, where lots of free available tools are there on the web. For example, there is a website called Desmod, which is having graphical calculator, scientific calculator, various geometry tools. And there's a website called Flipgrid, which is having a lot of mathematical videos. There's a website called the Plickers, which is having free printable cutouts, which can be used in the maths class. So it is all about how efficiently you use your computer lab uh, for the teaching learning process. And this is how we think that we can make the difference of, technology can help the students to learn mathematics in better.
Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Shamla ma'am. Shamla ma'am, again, in 60 seconds, your views on saying that how does technology helps or makes maths more interesting and easy. Shamla ma'am, over to you.
As Ragar sir said, those websites there are more. Sir also knows so many are there. We can use it. I prefer to use those kind of things in the classroom than giving them as a home assignment or something. Because when it is with the student, with other students, with the teachers, they will have that questioning, self-questioning, or asking question to the teacher, or at least one student ask a question, then the same doubt will be there for the other students also. They may not be asking it, many will not come up. So naturally, when you clear it, teacher can clear those things, and technology is always a supporting thing. Especially when, see, there are websites where you answer questions, where apps also, like, I don't know counting well the same system or not. The more you answer, you can move ahead with the concepts, higher concepts. Then if you are not able to do, then as you said, you will go back, and that's a self-realization happening over there. As I told you, we have to empower kids more than anybody else. We have to empower kids. For that, a self-realization or achievement level, there should be a benchmark set by each child. For that, this kind of technology support is helpful, I would say.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Nirmal sir will come up to you. First of all, you have to answer Shamli ma'am's question. What is the difference? Because I believe that it's not a website sort of thing. You have a mobile app which can be used very easily, but how it is different and how again it is much better than the websites which Rakesh sir also has talked about.
Sure. So yeah, it is a mobile app. It's not a website. But I think more than that, the important difference is in specifically what Shamla ma'am also pointed out, that we identify the child's learning level, and then based on that, the next set of questions or next set of learning even is on that level of the child. So instead of trying to say that the app is at this level and the child has to come up, we have to go down to the child's level. And we say that we will start there and then let the child climb up that level. And as they do that, then their confidence will also build, right? So one of the things, you forget all these other websites, right? YouTube itself is such a huge resource. I've seen my own son taking so many, looking at so many videos and saying that I'm learning all this on YouTube. But what really happens there is that you look at that and you feel that, yes, I've learned it. But you ask them just 2 hours later and you will realize that they have not quite learned anything, right? So, one of the things that we have employed as a technique for teaching is that instead of simply giving that information or showing them a lot of videos, we go back and forth. So, when we teach them something, we ask them a question. Then again, we teach them something, we ask them a question. So, within a span of even 10 minutes, they would have had to answer at least 5 or 6 questions. So that way, what is happening is that child is involved. The child is feeling that they are discovering something, they are learning on their own. So the whole idea is that then they become more of self learners, right? They start feeling that, yes, I can learn, and yes, I can learn by myself. So that is the value that something like this can bring, right? Instead of something which is more, I would say, static. So, just a bunch of questions, a bunch of exercises is good to do, but it is not where you will be able to learn as interactively as that. So that's where the difference comes in. And not necessarily just counting well, right? I'm sure that there are other platforms available out there, but this is something that we have felt that making it interactive, making it participative for the child is where we can bring the most value to the child in their learning process.
That's amazing, sir. And gamification is also added. And WhatsApp, you have added up in the WhatsApp. What was that, sir?
Yeah, so that is for the teachers. So what we also realize is that while we do all this, we also have to involve teachers very closely. And when we say that there is this whole detailed report and you have to go online, assign homework and all that, then it becomes an additional burden for the teachers because that is additional administrative task that they have to carry out. So what we did was that we simplified even that. So instead of doing all this online, what we do is that we send a WhatsApp message to the teacher, just says that your next homework is ready. Do you want to assign? Right on WhatsApp, they just say assign homework. A small page opens up on their phone. They just have to pick the topic, concept, and say assign it to the class, and it goes. When the homework is done, they get the report back on WhatsApp. So now what is happening is that that whole process of having to go online, trying to set up everything is cut off. Because one of the things we realize is that all said and done, already the teachers are burdened with too many other things, and we don't want to create that additional burden for them, right? So how do we make that easy? At the same time, we have to meet this goal that ultimately the child has to benefit. So for teacher, it's just tap tap tap, assign homework. Now everything else is happening for the child on the app out of the school. So it's an after school program, they're just learning on their own. But when they come back, then hopefully they have achieved that additional learning, and the teacher is also getting all this report, everything on WhatsApp.
That's amazing, sir. Wonderful. A wonderful product you have created. See, it is very helpful. As I'm not, my son is also using that. I mean, he's getting a lot of help from mathematics, Phobia, or whatever it was getting up. I just took him to my school and to my teacher, but the reality came up with the mathematics. Then I, went up with all the things. His school also took up your app and all. Now, when he is using this, there's a huge lot of difference he's feeling when he's using that particular app. It's really helping the teachers, and I also taken the feedback from the other schools also by using that. A perfect thing you have created, and that too you have created that for free of cost for the schools, as well as you are also having so many type of different type of. I've seen media that exams you are having for the students. वो कभी Ramanujan and sometimes the 7 feet trophy you are going to give
Yes.
for the winner, for all India winner. I mean 7 feet trophy. So
Yeah.
that is an initiative to the students that they may participate and they must come forward.
Yeah. I mean, the idea is that we should make it also exciting and fun for them, right? So
Right.
all the events that we do, all the competitions we do, and we keep doing this from every 2-3 months, we cover their whatever they have learned in the class during that time. So for example, now what we're doing will cover the first 2 chapters of their current academic year.
Right.
So that way, that it is associated with their learning. It's not just some random competition. We make sure that they have to go through the learning. And
Right.
at the same time, there is this whole excitement created around the fact that there is a competition, there is a 7-foot trophy. Sometimes we say that you select your own prize, let them select something that they want to win. Right? Then they have that enthusiasm that, yes, if I do it right, then I will win this prize. So this,
Again, you're not taking anything from the students. In fact, you're giving to them.
yes, we are giving to them.
Absolutely right. All the best to Nirmal sir, and you had a courage to take up this maths app, which is what it's still difficult for many people at this age also. For sure. Thank you so much for coming up. Now, coming up to the last part of the session, which the newcomers might not be knowing, that before parting, you have to sing two lines of a song. Shivani ma'am knows that, but all the others are newcomers.
But
So
I had actually forgotten that.
that's great, ma'am. That's great, ma'am. Before parting, we should have a me time, a great time. We should have, whenever you're coming from a hill station, from somewhere, तो वहां पे जो मजा आता है उसके बाद जो उसकी सोच होती है, जो मजा करते हैं, वो किया था, that feeling is very good, and me time should always be there. So the only thing is that the newcomers or the first people who have come for the first time, they have to start, and there are for the newcomers there are two gentlemen and one lady. So I think Shamla ma'am, we should start up with you. It can be a religious song, it can be a regional song, it can be a filmy song, any two lines.
I don't sing at all.
Ma'am, nobody sings at all, but we have produced
Bathroom
so
singers,
many.
everybody are bathroom singers.
Ma'am, we have created so many, we have found out so many good singers over here that I'm going to talk to the Indian Idol people that they should have a separate, season for the leaders, for the
Educators.
for the educators. And believe me that so many have come up to the, according to me, have come up to the semi-finals and quarterfinals and finals even. If you don't agree, just see when Rakesh sir will be singing.
Yeah, Rakesh sir and Punya sir are ready. Let us.
Okay, Shamla ma'am, they are gentlemen. They'll start, after that you can sing them. Rakesh sir, over to you.
Right, sir, please. So that means I'll be the one who'll start. रुक जाना नहीं तुम कहीं हार के, कांटों पे चल के मिलेंगे साए बाहर के। रुक जाना नहीं तुम कहीं हार के, कांटों पे चल के मिलेंगे साए बाहर के। Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, sir.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
You know why sir sung that song? Because his wife is along with him in the school and she's at distress. She's the boss at home also and at school also. Sir is principal, she's headmistress, but so again he has to say all the time, "Ruk jana nahi to kahin." Thank you so much, sir. It's wonderful. It's wonderful always meeting you and talking to you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. You are going to the quarterfinals, sir, of the Indian Idol.
Thank you, sir.
Punya sir.
Sir. कभी सोचता हूँ कि मैं कुछ कहूँ, प्रिंसिपल ऐसी होता है। कभी सोचता हूँ कि मैं चुप रहूं, आदमी जो कहता है, आदमी जो सुनता है, जिंदगी भर वो सदाएं पीछा करती हैं। आदमी जो लेता है, आदमी जो देता है, जिंदगी भर वो दुआएं पीछा करती हैं। कोई भी हो हर ख्वाब तो सच्चा नहीं होता, कोई भी हो हर ख्वाब तो सच्चा नहीं होता, बहुत ज्यादा प्यार भी अच्छा नहीं होता। कभी दामन छुड़ाना हो तो मुश्किल हो, प्यार के रिश्ते टूटे तो, प्यार के रास्ते छूटे तो, रास्ते में फिर वफाएं पीछा करती हैं। आदमी जो कहता है, आदमी जो सुनता है, जिंदगी भर वो सदाएं पीछा करती हैं। कभी कभी मन धूप के कारण तरसता है, कभी कभी मन धूप के कारण तरसता है, कभी कभी फिर झूम के सावन बरसता है। पलक झपके यहाँ मौसम बदल जाए, प्यास कभी मिटती नहीं, एक बूंद भी मिलती नहीं, और कभी रिमझिम घटाएं पीछा करती हैं। आदमी जो कहता है, आदमी जो सुनता है, जिंदगी भर वो सदाएं पीछा करती हैं।
Awesome.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful.
Wonderful,
You are
sir.
in the
Wonderful.
final, sir, for sure,
Superb.
sir.
Sir, you are in
उसमें
finals.
तो मौसम बना
One of
डाला
my
है।
favorite songs.
उसमें
Thank you,
कहते हैं
ma'am.
ना कि शोज में कि मौसम बना डाला सर आपने। एंड आई मस्ट टेल यू द सेम ब्यूटीफुल सिंगर इज मिस्टर राजेश राठौर, हु इज द सऊदी प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ जम्मू आल्सो। वो आपकी तरह इतना बढ़िया गाते हैं सर। वी हैव वन again one more finalist. He was the finalist and you are the finalist as of now. Wonderful, sir. Wonderful voice you have, sir. So much talent we have, sir. I don't call principals only principals. They are genies. Any stakeholder, they come up and they're up and they say, we say kya hukam hai mere aaka, with a smiling face, and we have to do everything, like so much stress we throughout the day we had, and now when we are
And
meeting over here
sir,
talking and discussing,
even the opening lines relates to the principal. वो सोचता है कहूँ कि नहीं कहूँ, रिजाइन तो नहीं आएगा, ना कहूँ तो काम तो नहीं करेगा, तो सब चलता है।
right sir, right sir, right sir. Thank you so much, sir. It's wonderful. Shamla ma'am, it's your turn now, please. Sir also has to go for it.
I'll try another time, second time when I come.
Over to you, ma'am. Shamla ma'am, please.
Sir, that is the only thing I cannot do.
Ma'am, we are asset man, we are principals, we are genies, we can do anything.
No, that is the only thing. No, sir, only singing.
Ma'am, any you can sing your school prayer, ma'am, no problem. That too you can do at least, ma'am.
Even I am not getting it now.
Ma'am,
No, sir.
ma'am,
Another time.
school prayer, ma'am. You are secretary of Saudi, ma'am. You are a CBSE school principal, secretary Saudi. मतलब मलापुरम का आप नाम क्या मतलब खराब करना चाहती है? इतने धुरंधर लोग वहां से आते हैं, इतने बड़े लोग आते हैं. They have
No, I would say one of my favorite quotes, not any songs.
Ma'am, out of the two Saudi presidents over there in Malapuram, they have sung over here.
They all are good singers, sir. I cannot sing it all. That's why.
Ma'am,
I'm
if you
so
want,
sorry.
ma'am, any two line, ma'am, how can you escape out there? चलिए poem गा दीजिए, school की prayer गा दीजिए, बस that's it.
No, I'll just say a quote which I really love. Every time I say that, I think it's in fact a song's translation.
Ma'am, if you can sing anything in regional, that will be the most beautiful thing.
Only one thing I can't do is singing. That is the reason. Then you will all run away from here.
We want to just listen the rhythm only.
No, sir. Here I just wanted to say a small thing. It's just my, life. I should say life quote.
Right.
What I believe in. Every day completes with a self look back, self thinking. Just 1 minute. In that 1 minute, if you cannot find out something that you touch the heart of a person, don't see the next morning.
That's great, ma'am. But ma'am, whenever you're coming, ma'am, Shamla ma'am, but whenever you're coming up with the next
Next
episode,
time I'm
anytime,
going to.
you
I'm going
will have
practice.
to come up with a practice. You can go up to your Saudi president and you can ask which song did they sung, ma'am. They will
Yes.
tell you which song, original song they had sung, ma'am. Shivani ma'am will come up to you. You always had been a good singer, ma'am. I know. I remember.
Chalo, I'll try. Okay. यारा सिली सिली बेरहा की रात का जलना, यारा सिली सिली, यारा सिली सिली, यारा सिली सिली बेरहा की रात का जलना, यारा सिली सिली, ढोला सिली सिली, हो यारा सिली सिली, बेरहा की रात का जलना। ये भी कोई जीना है, ये भी कोई मरना, यारा सिली सिली, बेरहा की रात का जलना, यारा सिली सिली, ढोला सिली सिली, टूटी हुई चूड़ियों से जोड़ू ये कलाई में, पिछली गली में जाने क्या छोड़ आई मैं, टूटी हुई चूड़ियों से जोड़ू ये कलाई में, पिछली गली में जाने क्या छोड़ आई मैं, बीती हुई गलियों से, बीती हुई गलियों से फिर से गुजरना, यारा सिली सिली, ढोला सिली सिली, यारा सिली सिली, बेरहा की रात का जलना, यारा सिली सिली, ढोला सिली सिली, पैरों में न साया कोई, सर पे न साई रे, पैरों में न साया कोई, सर पे न साई रे, मेरे साथ जाए ना मेरी परछाई रे, मेरे साथ जाए ना मेरी परछाई रे, बाहर उजाला है, बाहर उजाला है, अंदर वीराना, यारा सिली सिली, बेरहा की रात का जलना, यारा सिली सिली, ढोला सिली सिली, यारा सिली सिली, ढोला सिली सिली. Thank you.
Semi-finals.
Wonderful,
Super, ma'am. Super.
Sending you to
Super.
semi-finals, ma'am, for sure.
Thank you so much.
After the step is final only. So, Nirmal sir, if you practiced, if you know it very well, the paper is out with you already within all the sessions. So if you can sing 2 lines.
And you are also very smart. You put me in the end because you know after this everybody will run away.
Sir, please, sir has to go to take a class. Sir, please hurry up, sir.
Sure. ऐ जिंदगी गले लगा ले, ऐ जिंदगी गले लगा ले, हमने भी तेरे हर एक गम को गले से लगाया है ना. Thank you.
Sir, your singing is improving after every episode, sir. तो मतलब यहाँ की भी ट्रॉफी, इंडियन आइडल वाली ट्रॉफी भी आप ले जाना चाहते हैं. Gradually you are going for that. Right, sir. Thank you
Sir,
so
one
much,
last
sir.
request from my side,
Sir.
and I request to you with the consent of all the principals, kindly share their contact numbers.
Sure. I will for sure give details with everyone so that you may remain connected. Thank you so much everyone for coming. Thank you Rakesh sir, Shivani ma'am, Punya sir, Nirmal sir and Shamla ma'am for coming. I hope you had a wonderful time over here and hope to see you and meet in another session, another season for sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good.
Thank you,
Thank you
Shivani
so much
ma'am.
for having us
Thank you, sir.
here.
Thank you very much.
Nirmal
Here's
sir,
my-
Rakesh sir. See.
A
Thank you, sir.
very
Thank
good
you, sir.
evening to everybody and best wishes for staying healthy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.